Welcome to Thriver TV, the place to break free from narcissistic abuse with quantum tools and understandings. Putting oneself first is not an easy thing. There can be many multi-layered beliefs that have stopped us thinking that it's healthy to do this. Guilt can be a big barrier. How many of us have thought that taking care of self is wrong, selfish, and even narcissistic? Many of us came from the previous generation mindset of survival, and energy expended must be on practical doing tasks rather than so-called self-indulgent ones. Today, I want to grant you 5 wonderful ways that we can take care of ourselves, as well as the internal shifts that we can do on our subconscious programs to evolve beyond guilt and get healthier. Okay, before we get started, thank you for being a subscriber to my channel. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe. And also, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Now, let's look at the reasons why healthy self-care is essential. And I really love this when we understand by honoring ourselves, we honor the entire field in honorable ways. I want to begin by saying what we do need to become and shift into. It's what we're all taught by the aeroplane analogy, to put our oxygen mask on first before attempting to help anybody else with theirs. If we're gasping for air, we potentially do more damage than good to other people. And this is why I'm so adamant about parents healing themselves as their first point of call before attempting to sort out things for their children. Quantum law is a very exact law of so within, so without. If we try to serve others whilst we are going empty, then our efforts will only bring up more pain and emptiness to others and ourselves. Yet if we come from a place of wholeness, then we affect others and the entire field in whole and healthy ways. What is also vitally important is that we don't continue the message of the dire codependency that we were fed growing up, that going without and people pleasing and keeping the peace so that others will love you is what we should do. We all know how that turned out. Also, if we stay broken and empty and our children see this, whilst we try to give them everything they need, then they will grow up not emulating what we want for them, but rather how we were to ourselves. That's what children do. They take on the programs of how their parents modeled self to them. It's so important to understand that. Okay, so now that we have this clear that we need to become a healthy model of self for self, others, and all of life, let's look at the first delightful way that we can do this. Number 1 is say no when exhausted and replenish yourself instead. If we keep helping others when we're wrung out and exhausted ourselves, we're in wrong town. Sometimes, of course, when we have little children and we have no option, this is all part of being a parent. But what I'm really talking about here is when other capable people ask for our help and we fear saying no to them. We may be scared of losing their love of approval if we were to honour ourselves. Yet if we say yes when we don't have the energy to comply, or if it compromises our values and boundaries to do so, the energy is going to be murky. We could be resentful that they expect us to drop everything for them. We may lose valuable self-esteem and self-worth. We may be pissed because other people in the family or the friendship circle won't help, and we're the one that gets lumbered with it. If we're playing victim to all of this, we make out it's the other person's lack of consideration that's causing our distress, yet truly it's our own poor boundary function. And there's a very essential truth about all of this. If you are okay with honouring your energy levels, other healthy people respect this too. They have other options. They don't think badly of you. They know that being the generous person you are, that you would assist if you could. The bottom line is you are not obsessing about whether or not they accept your no, because you know that honouring self is your number 1 priority regardless. And if you get sorted in your inner beliefs and boundaries, and you know that you're not serving others in high and honourable ways unless you are replenished, then you know if people don't accept your no, they don't care about you, and you shouldn't have them in your life. What you will also discover is that when you do respect yourself, people respect you more too. If you're the always giving person who bends over backwards to give people assistance, you'll discover that when it comes time for you to need help, nobody will be there for you. Why not? Because they are reflecting back to you how you are not there for yourself. That's how it works. What is vitally important here is moving out of guilt to discover how easy and unselfish it is to be honest with people regarding whether you can help or not. Those of you who are NARPers, if you have been struggling in this area, I suggest feeling into these beliefs. This is the first one. People will only love me if I serve them. If I say no, I will be punished. I have to earn love and approval. Other people's needs and energy is more important than my own. Other people don't respect or support what I need. I don't deserve my own kindness and care. If you feel any emotional charges in your body when you check inwards on these beliefs, then you would benefit greatly from clearing them out. I recommend NARP Module 1 and the Source Healing and Resolution module to do this effectively and powerfully and quickly. Then you will become that person who can say no and honour you so much more easily. Now let's have a look at number 2, which is ask for help when needed. And I know that this can be a really tough one to tackle, and it may not feel delightful at all. But please know, growth doesn't come from not facing uncomfortable feelings. Please know that asking for help and granting others the opportunity to supply it is one of the most beautiful ways that people can bond with you. It's scientifically proven that the act of giving grants the giver oxytocin, which emotionally bonds them with feelings of love to the person that they're giving to. Many people don't realize that if they are doing everything themselves and they're not asking for what they need and allowing themselves to receive, then they're not generating deeper connections with others. If you're the only one giving, it's usual for the person continually receiving to lose interest and start disconnecting from you. Belief systems have a huge amount to do with being able to be a receiver. If you feel guilty about asking for what you need and terribly uncomfortable with receiving, which is so normal for people who've suffered narcissistic abuse, there is work to be done here. So let's look at the goal of where we want to get to be able to ask clearly and confidently for assistance when needed, without being whiny or passive-aggressive or trying to guilt others into it or giving long-winded explanations about why we can't do it ourselves. All of this is a product of not believing we deserve help, and then we will see the results reflected back to us of exactly that. I know with myself this was huge, as were all of the deservedness and boundary function issues. Personally, I believe that if this is a struggle, there are some very important belief systems that we may need to look at and release and heal. So here is my list for you to check out. Okay, it starts with everything is up to me. That's a really common belief. I am unsupported by life and others. My needs are invalidated and unimportant. I am invisible. If I let people do things for me, they will hold it over me, control me, and hurt me. So again, Module 1 and the Source Healing and Resolution module in NARP can powerfully find, release these beliefs for you and their traumas, granting you the trajectory of life where you can ask for and receive support, as well as let people go who were the match for those previous painful beliefs. Okay, let's have a look at number 3. Number 3 is do nice things for yourself. This is so big. Once upon a time, I used to feel bad for somebody having to work too hard on me with a massage, even though I was paying them for it. And I felt so guilty spending money on it that I couldn't even enjoy it anyway. In my mind, it felt like time wasted on myself when I could have been doing something so much more productive was really wrong. If we are into being over practical, incredibly responsible and frugal and self-denying, then it's extremely hard to do nice things for ourselves. How many people work hard and they're over practical all their life, and then it's too late to enjoy the fruits of their labor? Maybe they're too old, or they get sick, or even die before they do. Many people who have security fears struggle to have holidays or a nice hairdo or a night out or a dinner, or to buy some clothes or do something pampering for oneself. I love it how people in the NARC community have granted themselves the most beautiful acts of self-giving by doing things such as their own ring ceremony to affirm their love to themselves, or they buy themselves flowers on Valentine's Day. I remember when I was coming out of my own over-functioning, brutal workaholism and self-punishments, that I would take myself out to dinner or to a yoga class or a beautiful location for a holiday. When financially recovering from narcissistic abuse, little joys and time spent with yourself doesn't need to cost money. Time spent in nature is free and replenishing. We can do things like take a picnic and a good book and go to the beach. Or staying indoors, turning on some music and dancing in your living room to it. The ways to do nice things for ourselves are endless. And the more we clear trauma out of our being, the more space we have within to start connecting to life force and the good stuff. Even our healing time with ourselves is a special act of self-giving. I love making this time for me by making myself a lovely cup of something, sitting on my couch and releasing dense energy and bringing more light in. Or I do this when I'm walking on the beach in the morning, and I always feel fantastic afterwards. What I love about treating self in healthy ways is that this sets a precedent for being able to accept others giving to us and spoiling us as well. It also means that we'll be generous with our giving to others who we love. So let's look at some limiting beliefs that can block us doing nice things for ourselves. The first one: it's wrong, selfish, ungodly, etc. to do nice things for myself. There are others who need so much more than me. If I spend money on me, I will not have enough. If I'm not focused on the practical, something terrible could go wrong in my life. Again, NARPers, you know what to do to dig these beliefs out and start living your life free of them. So let's have a look at number 4, which is eat healthily. With the amount of toxins and chemicals that have infiltrated our food sources, it's become more necessary than ever that we choose whole, real and healthy foods. Healthy, fresh, whole foods are delicious when a little care has gone into their preparation. And food education hasn't been something the generations before us were focused on. Packaged convenience foods were things that many of us were brought up on and to accept as okay in our diets, yet they aren't healthy for us at all. Food can harm or heal. Non-conscious food choices can create weight gain, diabetes, inflammation, and organ, nervous system and brain damage. Healthy whole foods nourish our brain and our body. A very large part of our health, radiance, energy and well-being is about what we eat. In the information age we live in, truly ignorance doesn't cut it anymore. We can all Google and we can learn about what is healthy and what isn't. By eating whole foods and eliminating sugar and preservatives as much as possible from your diet, you will reap the rewards of a healthy body and mind, as well as a glowing life force within. I truly believe healthy food is essential self-care. Now let's look at some limiting beliefs that can prevent us eating healthily. Okay, so the first one is healthy food is boring, unappetizing and unpleasant. I won't enjoy myself if I can't eat the foods that I want. I don't deserve to nourish my being. I'll be rejected or ostracized by my family or peers if I eat healthily. Sugar and bad foods fill my emptiness within. I punish myself with bad food. And of course, there may be others that are very specific to you, which you'll find when you go inwards. Belief systems are such a big part of healthy food struggles, and I really recommend doing the inner work to make this journey easier for yourself. So all you need to do is target the traumas with Module 1 or the Source Healing and Resolution module that are generating your limiting food beliefs. And by clearing them, you'll evolve beyond them and reset to your organic truth, which is health and well-being. Number 5 is move your body. Our life force, when stagnant, gets depressed and stuck and even toxic. Holistically and optimally, we want to move our body every day. And this is an important part of our recovery, evolution, and expansion to open up the cells in our being as we release trauma so that life force and well-being, which is source, our higher power, can enter us, move through us as us. Exercise is a big part of this. The benefits from exercise are so good, emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Exercise is a very personal journey. I love walking, yoga, and Pilates, and it's a really rare day that I don't do some form of exercise, even just a walk. So let's look at some limiting exercise beliefs. Exercise is unpleasant and boring. I don't have the energy or the motivation to exercise. I don't deserve to be healthy and fit. What's the point? It's going to be too hard and take too long to achieve the results I want. If I open up to exercise, I will be unsafe, exposed, and not be able to contain my emotions. I punish myself by not moving. Okay. And there can be many others. So naturally, digging out our limiting beliefs can be very confronting. Yet if we leave them there, then we have a constant battle with ourselves where we can literally drive ourselves crazy, and the guilt is horrible every time we default back to the limiting belief. As Dr. Bruce Lipton explains, when the subconscious and the conscious mind go up against each other, the subconscious wins. Hence why doing the programming inside is so much more effective. So with all of these 5 self-care delightful practices, a very powerful and easy way to get them online is to target the traumas in your inner being that are blocking you doing whatever that self-care practice is. And one by one you can dig them out and release them so you naturally flow forward into these desired practices. And again, Module 1 and the Source Healing and Resolution module in NARP are really effective solutions for this. And all you have to do is follow the instructions in these healings. It's all laid out for you. This is what I love about our Thriver journey. It's about so much more than just escaping narcissistic abuse. It's really about becoming our healthiest and most actualized self. So if these are areas of your life that you wish to heal and improve, I'd love to help you from the inside out achieve this. And I'd love to hear your feedback regarding this episode. Do you relate to these 5 areas and the limiting beliefs? Do you want to see more videos about topics like these? Also, let me know what topics you would like me to cover regarding healing stuff apart from narcissistic abuse. Okay, and if you like this, click like. Also, please share with your community so that we can help people awaken to these truths and become our best and our most expanded, happy selves. And as always, I'm greatly looking forward to answering your comments and your questions below. So until the next one, keep smiling, keep healing, and keep thriving because there's nothing else to do. Lots of love. Bye-bye.